Hey everybody, the following is an excerpt from the monthly Rahdo Roundup, and if you'd like to see the rest of the roundup, you can hit that eye up in the top right corner of the screen, or if you'd like to know more about the game, you can follow the link down in the show notes. And with that out of the way, let's talk about
Moon Colony Bloodbath. I love this game so much. I'm just going to say it right now. This is designer Donald X. Vaccarino. You know, the guy behind Dominion and Kingdom Builder. This is, I've got to say, his second best design in his career. It is a career best. It is tough to beat Dominion when it boils right down to it. And honestly, if you take out the 50 bajillion expansions that exist for Dominion, I might actually rank this game higher than Dominion. It is so good. It is wickedly funny. It is incredibly fast playing, and it is brutal in the best possible way. My wife and I did do a full playthrough of it again. That's an exclusive for backers of the show. Thank you for keeping Rahdo running. And what is it? Well, players are competing to build the best moon, or the best moon base possible. And it's kind of set in a 50s Americana style setting. But here's the problem. We should not be on the moon. We are not ready for it. And the game starts out easily enough. There is a common deck of cards that's shuffled up, and it's basically a bingo style game. Every round, you just draw the top card off the event deck, and everybody does whatever it says. At the beginning of the game, it's a simple deck. There's 4 cards that just say work, and those let you activate any of the actions you want on your main board. You can build new buildings in your lunar colony. You can mine for resources to get the stuff you need to build more stuff. You can farm because you're going to need food to feed your astronauts. You can research so it lets you draw more cards so you've got more things you can build. Or you can restock, which means you fill up your buildings with supplies and whatnot. So most of the time at the beginning of the game, you're just going to draw a card and it says work, and you're going to pick one of those actions. And over time, from the cards you've got in your hand and whatever you research, you're going to start building up a little engine where you're trying to build buildings that supplement each other. Oh, this one gives me the stuff that allows this one to run. Or these two, if I build all 3 of these, every time I farm, I get 3 benefits for 1. So you're trying to combine because all these cards have tons of different abilities. Abilities when you play them, abilities when you activate certain work actions, abilities when they get destroyed, all kinds of stuff, and or abilities that supplement other abilities. Passively. But anyway, so you're building more of these, and an important thing is every time you build a new building, it brings new astronauts to your moon base, and you need more and more and more people because things start out pretty well. Hey, we're just working, but in that deck, in addition to the work cards, there are a couple of something went wrong cards. And whenever these happen, you have to draw the next event. And the event deck is the timer of the game. If all players can survive to the end of the event deck, then whoever has the biggest population wins. But I'm telling you right now, folks, it is very unlikely that everybody is going to survive. Because these events, they start out not too bad. Oh, people are kind of hungry. They're grousing a little bit. Oh, there's paperwork. That's an event where I have to draw an extra card. Yay, I get to draw a card, but I have to discard 2 cards. Oh no, I've got to I wanted to build that, now I've got to discard it. Little problems. But then the robots start going manic. They start glitching. And still doing their job of helping clean the space apartments or organize the space warehouse. But whenever those glitchy robot cards come up in the event deck, the deck that players are building, they end up killing astronauts. 2, 5, 7 astronauts at a time. Boom! And what started out as a very prosperous colony full of dozens and dozens of astronauts starts becoming the place of a bloodbath. And it's not just the robots that start glitching. We start getting airlock leaks. We start getting moonquakes. Just bad disaster after disaster. And the thing is, every time one of these cards gets added, the central deck that drives everything just gets bigger and fatter throughout the game. What started out as a slim deck of, it's just opportunities to work and prosper and succeed, soon becomes full to the brim of terrible, awful, calamitous disasters that are threatening to destroy your moon base. And somehow you've got to survive. How do you survive? You build more stuff because that brings more people to your moon base. So as people are dying, sometimes 10, 15, 20 of them might die on a given trip through the deck. Well, you've got to find ways to supplement and bring more people to your moon base. Maybe bring in some space tourists. Maybe have space babies, whatever it takes to keep your population up. Because when your population goes, that's when you have to start destroying the buildings. And once your buildings are all gone and your population's gone, you're wiped out. And if somebody else is still alive, they win. Now, there's one other trick. So this is a game where everybody kind of shares communal control of a central deck that is trying to kill us. Now, one of the things we're trying to do is fill that deck full of good things. Things like, oh, I make extra money, or I get extra births, or I get extra food. So we can throw good things into the deck as well as all the bad things that are showing up. So that's an important element. But the most important thing is, as part of setup, when the deck first starts, there are 4 work cards, 2 of the glitch cards that start creating bad events, and then there are 2 twists. There's a whole deck full of twist cards, and 2 of them are randomly chosen and thrown in there. These become the things that make every session of this game feel radically different than the last one. One game you might have engineers that allow you to reclaim your buildings and stay in control, or you might have animal research that gives you a way to, well, that one's kind of dark. I mean, the game is suffused with a dark sense of humor throughout. I think my favorite card of all is one of the late game disaster cards where the flavor text says, yeah, you know what? This place used to be so crowded, and I know it's terrible, all the deaths and everything, but it's kind of nice too. There's just a lot of silly gallows humor spread throughout, and every time you play, depending on the 2 randomly chosen twists that go into the deck, that will make different strategies stronger or weaker. So you'll get a very, very different play experience between the twists that are a twist to the game every time you play, a different combo of them, which everybody knows what they are before you start playing, between the random cards that you draw that will determine how am I responding to the disasters. Can I find a way to not have to worry about paperwork anymore? But that's the least of my problems. Can I find a way to avoid getting killed by robots? Well, certain buildings might give you more protections than others, but they're probably more expensive. Do you save up for them, or do you go for the quick buildings that will just keep you alive a little bit longer? While the game is just constantly beating you into the ground. And it's basically just a race to survive the longest. You don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be faster than everybody else, when the bear is chasing you. So, I love this game. But not everybody will. I also love the second half of Galaxy Trucker. After you work so hard to make your perfect little truck in the real-time tile laying game, then the game mercilessly rips apart your truck. That's what this game is in its entirety, except for in Galaxy Trucker, you build your truck in the first half of the game, and then the game tries to destroy your truck. Here, you are building your moon base and rebuilding it as it's being torn apart. It's really cool, and I've seen very, very few games that do something like this. I'm kind of reminded of a classic deck builder that's sadly forgotten, Eaten by Zombies, which had some of the same ideas. But again, this game is so sharp. The cards, the powers of the cards are so strongly thematic. And also, again, if you enjoy gallows humor, dark, twisted sense of humor, you will find yourself sometimes just laughing out loud. Now, one thing I should warn, the game can also be incredibly luck swingy, but that's okay. It's a simultaneous game. Doesn't matter whether you're playing this as a solo game or a 5-player game, it's going to play out the same roughly 20 to 30 minutes every time you play it, and it is fantastic. It just zips along at a pace as you desperately cling on, trying to survive the Moon Colony Bloodbath. And that's why I'm saying, folks, this has got to be one of Donald X. Vaccarino's greatest designs, probably only supplanted by Dominion itself. This is going to be a sleeper. I don't think a lot of people are going to be seeking this out. I mean, heck, here it is right here. I think people might be put off by the kitschy 50s vibe, or they might get the wrong idea. Oh, it's a bloodbath. It's a lot of players trying to kill each other. No. This is like, a 50s era disaster film, like, They Live, or, The Ants, those kinds of things. And it's just a blast. Here's the deal. The first time I played it with my wife, she hated it. Both because it was just so brutally, unflinchingly destructive, as she worked so hard to keep alive, but also she wasn't really into the humor. But the more we played it, the more she started smiling, the more she started laughing, the more she started being the one to read the flavor text when a new event would happen. So it pulled her in too, and that's saying something because she is not predisposed to like this kind of thing. Folks, I am telling you, this is something really, really special. This is my first potential top 10 candidate for 2025, quite frankly. Normally, I don't end up seeing one of these until a little bit later in the year, but I am over the moon with number 3, Moon Colony Bloodbath. Seek it out, folks. If anything I've just said intrigues you, well, oh my gosh, does this game deliver? But anyway.
And thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference, believe me. But with that out of the way, if you'd like to see some more, over on the left, you can find a playlist of a whole bunch more Rahdo Rapid reviews. Up in the top right, there's the latest thing that's been added to the channel. And in the bottom right, you've got something YouTube recommends. Okay, folks, thanks for watching.